before we are going to proceed further, I would like to revise the previous one, the previous class, because little bit the topic itself, it is a tough topic, and visualization is also a big issue with that one. So I would like to revise that again, and then we proceed further. Okay. So I just want to revise the entire class which was happened yesterday. Okay. So ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ వినండి. Okay. So ఒక ఐడియాగా వస్తుంది. So I started with playing with vectors. So if you take any vector, please once again. So next class అంటే నేను ఫర్దర్గా మూవ్ అవ్వాలి, అది అర్థం కావాలి అంటే ఈ క్లాస్ ఖచ్చితంగా అర్థం అవ్వాలి. ఓకే. సో అందుకే మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి రివైజ్ చేస్తున్నాను. సో ఒకసారి నిన్న విన్నని వాళ్ళు ఎవరైనా ఉంటే వినండి, నిన్న విన్న వాళ్ళైనా సరే మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి డౌట్స్ క్లారిఫై చేసుకోండి. ఓకే. సో ఐఎమ్ ఆడిబుల్, ఇస్ ఇట్ ఫైన్? ఎనీవన్? am I audible? Okay, thank you. So now if you consider a vector like this is a vector and which is representing like A and B 2 points. So position vector of B with respect to A, this is a vector, and in some time t this vector is changed to something like this. Now this is a new position of A dash and this is a new position of B dash. Please understand this one. A's position, B's position, it is observed with respect to some other fixed reference frame. With respect to some other fixed reference frame, we observed position of A and position of B. And according to this reference frame, position vector of A, it is taken as something like this, R1 bar, and R2 bar. Please hold, wait for a second. Okay, now there is a position vector of 2, the B R2 bar. Now this is a vector which is defined as R2 bar minus R1 bar. Now this is a position vector which is observed by this reference frame. According to this reference frame, the reference frame which is fixed to this one, R2 bar minus R1 bar, initially it is observed as like this. After some time t, now this is a new position of A dash, this is a new position of B dash, as observed from this reference frame. Now this is a, you can take new position vector of R1 A1 A dash and the new position vector of B dash, then you can take it as like R2 dash minus R1 dash. Now if you observe, like with respect to this reference frame, you can observe that this is a vector. If you define this as a spatial vector with respect to this reference frame, now this vector is observed like this after some time. So you can understand there is a change in vector. When it comes to change in vector, the change in vector you can understand in terms of magnitude as well as in direction. So there is a magnitude change, no doubt we can see the length change, and also there is a directional change. So with respect to this one, if you just replicate this as the reference one here, then you can take it as angular change. So there is a direction change and there is also magnitude change. So both are happened for the vector. Okay. Now this is like, understand here, you must understand this point here. These two vectors and R2 bar minus R1 bar, that is a vector which is defined according to this reference frame. And A is moved, B is moved, now there is a new vector. Now when it comes to here, suppose if I fix up the reference frame to A, I mean to say that A feels that A is at rest, now it is observing B. So initially B is observed here. Now it looks like B is observed here. Spatially, B is the point which is moved to somewhere here. But A feels that still it is at rest. Now in such a case, this is going to be the observed position vector of B with respect to A. Now A observes that B is somewhere here with B dash. Now this is going to be new position vector in the reference frame fixed to A. Then once again you can see there is a change in magnitude of the vector as well as there is a directional change. That is the thing which is happened here. Okay, so with respect to suppose position vector of B with respect to A, or if you proceed further, suppose if you want to write position vector of 2 with respect to 1, that is going to be R2 bar minus R1 bar. And when you go for differentiation of this one, this is going to be change in this vector. So simply dr2 bar by dt. dr2 bar by dt means R2 bar change is observed with respect to this reference frame. So it is going to be like V2 bar minus V1 bar. So if the thing is observed with respect to this reference frame, in such a case, V2 bar minus V1 bar is observed with respect to this reference frame. So I mean to say that the vector change is observed by some other person fixed to another reference frame. According to him, he is observing what is the change in R2 bar minus R1 bar. So that's a change in R2 bar minus R1 bar. Now when it comes to the change with respect to the reference frame fixed to A, then in such a case it is going to be the vector we have take this vector and we have take this vector, then we have write R2 bar minus R1 bar. Okay, so this is a final vector with respect to this one and there's the initial vector, so we are going to take the change in this one. So I'm not writing anything for that one. Okay, so that's the observed phenomenon with respect to this one. So how the vector is like the vector V2 bar minus V1 bar and the vector which you are going to observe with respect to this reference frame, both are going to be different. That's what I'm showing here graphically. Okay, now that's the point which I explained yesterday, and from that and someone posted a question to me regarding the yesterday's problem. Please, before going for that one, understand this point. The circle is the locus of all the points from a fixed point. I hope you know this one. So you can call it this as circle, taking this as reference and taking this as reference point, and you are saying that every point, the locus of all the points which are at a fixed distance. Suppose with respect to this point, a person is moving in a track in such a way that at every instant the person is remained at the same distance from this fixed point. Then you can say the person is moving in a circular path. Now understand this. This circle, the circular path we are saying. Now the motion of a point A, a particle A, if it is observed by a person here who is stationary, and with respect to this stationary person, if this person is observed, then what is the path traced by that person? Is it going to be a circle or different one? Is it going to look like circle or parabola or ellipse or something like this? Anyone? Circle or different one? Srijanya. Srijanya. Okay. Now you understood that it's a circle. So it is going to be observed like a circle, because here this is a person who is observing. If we take this person as reference one and he is thinking about each and every point distance from him, that distance is changing. But even this person can observe that the particle which is moving in this track, he can observe that this is at every instant that particle is at a fixed distance. Even this fixed person can also observe that. This is a point you have to understand first. Okay, so it's not something like so if I say this is a circle, if someone is observing that, this is not going to be circle. So please understand that this is going to be still circle. Okay, because he is a stationary person. Okay, and what he can observe, suppose if he is moving, what he is going to observe, he is going to observe the distance between these two is going to be changing. And based on that, at every instant, looks like the particle is having different distance with respect to that person, either stationary or moving. Okay, now I hope you understood this one. Now we come back to yesterday's problem. There is a person B, is the center of the circular track, and there is a person on this track A, and is moving. Now, in this case, please understand this point. This is a fixed line. You can do one thing here. Take this as a rod, fixed rod, and there is a hinge here. And this is another rod. It can move very freely. So please observe this in a geometrical way. Because if you want ఏ అనే పర్సన్ గా నువ్వు ఉండి చూడాలి అంటే ఫస్ట్ జామెట్రికల్ రిలేషన్ ఫస్ట్ తీసుకోండి. ఎందుకంటే లెంగ్త్ చేంజ్ నే మనం కైనమాటిక్స్ లో తీసుకునేది. సో లెంగ్త్ ఎలా చేంజ్ అవుతుంది, పొజిషన్ ఎలా చేంజ్ అవుతుంది, దాన్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని కైనమాటిక్స్ పార్ట్ మొత్తం మనం డీల్ చేస్తాం. సో లెంగ్త్ అవన్నీ కూడా జామెట్రికల్ థింగ్స్. ఓకే, సో ఫస్ట్ అండర్స్టాండ్ జామెట్రికల్ పాయింట్ హియర్. ఓకే, నౌ దిస్ ఈస్ ద రాడ్, this is another rod which is fixed one, and the rod which is free to move. Free to move, just simply you can understand it is moving freely like this. Okay, now if I leave this rod, it is going to move in a circular path like this. Even I observe it is going to circular path, even if you observe it is going to be in circular path. There is no change in that. So if I leave this rod, this is a rod which is going to move like this. So that is the thing which is going to observe. So this is person is having some constant speed here. I'm not involving any gravity here because it is in the horizontal plane. The plane of the board itself, it is a horizontal plane, not vertical plane. Okay, don't involve gravity and all those things here. Don't think about that. So the rod is maintaining a constant angular velocity or constant speed. This point is maintaining a constant speed here. Okay, now what I was explaining yesterday, when it comes to observation thing, in observation frame, this is a rod which is going to be fixed. If this rod, if you fix this rod, already these two rods are, if you take suppose something like two rods, one rod and second rod, or this rod is moving here. Now if I fix up this rod, definitely according to our visualization, according to the observation here, you can see that this rod is going to move up. Okay, I hope you understood this. So instead of moving off this rod, now stop this one and move this rod. Now when this person is at rest and this is also at rest, and the distance between O and B is fixed because B is not approaching to O or not receding away from O because it is fixed one. So the length of OB is fixed. If B is also moving, then how to handle that? You can understand that. Okay, if you understand this, you can understand that point like geometrically. Okay, now OB is the fixed one. Now OB is fixed one, and this is a rod fixed length which is having a angular velocity. Then it looks like B is maintaining a circular path like this because these are rod fixed. Now in such a case, it is having angular velocity omega, and when it comes to the velocity of this point, you know it is nothing but r omega. So r omega, you can get the value of that. And A observes that B is moving in a circular path, maintaining a fixed distance from O because O to B distance is not changing. It's a fixed one. Okay, so if you understand with rods, this is a rod, when this is a stationary one, like if you fix up these two ground, both are stationary in real and they are not moving. Now this is a fixed rod, length is fixed. Now this is another rod whose length is also fixed. Okay, now if you move this rod with some constant angular velocity, this is the one which is going to be approaching, like it is going to approach towards this rod and is going to move like this. Now once you fix up this one, the angle between these two, it must be changing with time. We know that point. It must be changing with time. So definitely this rod must be approaching to that one. That's a counterclockwise angular velocity. Okay, so they are going to have an opposite sense of angular velocities. Okay, but now it is fixed one, so we have to consider only this angular velocity, and with this angular velocity the rod is moving. So if rod is moving with some angular velocity, then velocity of this one, you can understand it is going to be r omega. That is the velocity of point B as observed by A. If A observes, velocity of B is going to be r omega, and B is observed to be in a circular path. Now if you want to see what is the approaching velocity of B to A as observed by A, understand this question. Approaching velocity of B to A, approaching velocity of B to A as observed by A. Approaching or receding is observed in terms of line joining the two particles or two persons. Now in such a case, the velocity of A as observed by velocity of B as observed by A is r omega like this. Now if you want to understand velocity of approaching velocity of B to A as observed by A, then you have to take the component of this one. That's the approaching velocity. Okay, now that's the idea. And if you want to get the approaching velocity, so the thing which I explained now, it is corresponding to observed frame of, like a frame which is fixed to A. Now suppose if I consider a frame in such a way that I'm not involving the observation of A. Simply I would like to ask that what is the velocity of B with respect to A? Velocity of B with respect to A. I'm not saying the reference frame is fixed to A, and I'm not using the word observed. Okay, if I use the word observed, then that's the case which I explained just before. And if I go for the next one, like simply saying what is the velocity of B with respect to A. Okay, in such a case, you have to understand that in terms of some other reference frame, because it is not the case the examiner is expecting, like if a frame is fixed to A, what would be the velocity of B? He is not bothering about that one. Okay, he's not talking about that even. Okay, then in this case, if I take the reference frame, some other reference frame, with respect to that, he is going to take the position vector of A, he is going to take the position vector of B. Okay, then position vector of A, position vector of B, then position vector of B with respect to 1. Position vector of B with respect to 1. Position vector of B with respect to 1. That's a R, B with respect to A. This is what I'm expecting. Now I have to go for differentiation of this one. That's the velocity of B with respect to A. It's not absorbed by A. Simply velocity of B with respect to A. Now it is going to be differentiation of these two. So dr2 bar by dt. dr2 bar by dt, r2 bar is defined with respect to this reference frame. Independently, you can write this as v2 bar. That's the velocity of B with respect to ground frame. What is the velocity of B with respect to ground? 0. It is given already. It is 0. And velocity of 1 with respect to ground. Velocity of 1 with respect to ground, it is known as v in this direction. Now simply you are going to have minus v bar. That is going to be negative sign. Clear? So the vector velocity of A with respect to B, it is same as, like magnitude is same as that of velocity of B with respect to A, but the direction is opposite sense, because the everything which you are writing here, r2 bar minus r1 bar or r1 bar minus r2 bar, it is observed with respect to this reference frame which is fixed to ground, because I'm talking about the thing which is happening here, everything which is happening in space. I would like to observe that with respect to some other reference frame. Then exactly whatever initial vector is there, and now how the vector is changed. Okay, so I have to go with that one. So then in such a case, I'm going to get R2 bar change and R1 bar change. R2 bar change, R1 bar change independently I'm going to observe with respect to this one. Clear? So I hope you understood the difference between a reference frame fixed to some point or some observed thing. That is different, and simply using the word of with respect to. With respect to the word is given, then it is not the observed idea. Then in that case, what are the kind in kinematics you learned, like v2 bar minus v1 bar minus v2 bar, you are going to make use of that one. There is no much difference between that. Okay, so it is going to be the same thing which you are going to take here. Ardhamainda? Anyone? Difference inka evarikaina? Anyone can raise a question? Okay, so I proceed further. The next one, when it comes to acceleration case, so same way with respect to, means I first of all I consider velocity of 2 with respect to 1, then I have to go for differentiation of this one. Please understand this point. I have velocity of 2 with respect to 1 as v2 bar minus v1 bar. Now if I differentiate this, then I'm going to get dv2 bar by dt and minus dv1 bar by dt. What about dv2 bar by dt? It's a acceleration, like rate of change of velocity of b as observed with respect to some frame here. Then that is 0 already. So this is 0. Now when it comes to dv1 bar by dt, what about the acceleration of point A? The A is moving in circular path. So there is a change in velocity for A as observed by this reference frame. Then in such a case, acceleration of A is observed to be towards the center. That we can understand r omega square. Now when it comes to this value, you can conclude as r omega square minus, like whatever vector you are going to get here, this is a vector, this is a vector. I am going to observe this vector in this direction. Now I have to get the value minus of that. So direction must be in the opposite sense. Value same, direction is in the opposite sense. So you are going to get that's the acceleration of 2 with respect to 1. Clear? This is not observed acceleration. This is not observed acceleration. This is simply an observed acceleration which is taken with respect to this one. It's not the acceleration taken observed by A. Now if I go for the acceleration of B, I hope you got this one. I'm leaving this one. So if I want to know what is the acceleration of B as observed by A. As observed by A is fixed, and A observed that B is moving in a circular path, maintaining a fixed distance. Then at this point of time, as observed by A, B is having constant speed. With constant speed, it is moving in a circular path. If it is moving in circular path with constant speed, then acceleration of B is going to be towards O, you can say. Here it is going to be some x into omega square. That is the acceleration of B as observed by A. So I fixed up reference frame to A. If A feels it is at rest, then how B is observed? B is observed to be it is moving in a circular path. If B is moving in a circular path, then the acceleration of B is going to be only centripetal acceleration, which is given by the radial length, which is nothing but x at x into omega square. That's the acceleration of B as observed by A. So far clear? So far clear? Anyone? Irfan? Anyone? Any doubt? Okay. Irfan, why we are not taking tangential acceleration? Understand here, when do you consider tangential acceleration? Tangential acceleration can be taken when there is a speed change. Speed change here, in our case, angular velocity is constant. Angular velocity is constant, it means that there is no angular acceleration. So without angular acceleration, how can you expect tangential acceleration? So speed of B as observed by A, it is fixed one, because the rod is rotating with constant angular velocity. So that tip B, always it is going to maintain a constant speed. There is a change in direction, but there is no change in magnitude. So it is going to be constant speed, that is going to be acceleration, tangential acceleration is equivalent to 0. I hope you got this one. No tangential acceleration, only centripetal acceleration. Okay. It's not approaching idea, Raj Gautam. It is not approaching idea. It's a sense I am saying, not approaching with same angular velocity. It is something like when it is fixed one, this is observed to be in the opposite sense. How A was moving, okay, it is opposite sense to that one. That a sense, sense is in opposite one, not the approaching idea. Okay, so we should not use the word approaching. So it's the opposite sense of motion. So it looks like B, if B observes, it looks like A is having a sense of rotation like this, but A observes that B is having opposite sense of rotation. That's what I'm saying here. It's not approaching idea, it's the opposite sense of rotation. Okay. Now, so last discussion with which we left yesterday. So A observing that B is having an acceleration x omega square towards the center, and x is a person like B is a person who is sitting on a bench. Let us say he's sitting on a bench. Okay, he's at rest. Suppose if he stands, whatever the case, you can see only two forces. One is the normal force, the other one is gravitational force. No tangential force here, no frictional force. If you feel any frictional force, then definitely you must be accelerating. because if no counterbalancing force there, then you must accelerate according to the force which is observed there. So if there is friction, you must be accelerating. Okay, so there is no friction from the ground on you, only normal force by the ground and gravity. Only these two forces are there, and both are in the opposite sense. But when I am observing, when A is observing B, then B is having an acceleration in the tangential plane of Earth. Parallel to Earth, there is an acceleration for B. Without a force, you cannot see an acceleration. There's a Newton's law, it says. Okay. So now my question is that who is providing this acceleration? Who is providing this acceleration? So anyone has got any conclusion? Anyone? Before we proceed further, you have to understand Newton's laws first. Okay, so you have to understand the forces first. Okay, and reference frame to reference frame, how the forces are going to be changed. This is a crucial thing. Okay, and why most of the students feel physics is tough, it is the impression which is going to be happened with mechanics. Okay, so mechanics నా కెరీర్లో నేను చూసినంత వరకు స్టూడెంట్స్ ఎలా ఉంటారు అంటే మేబీ మీరు ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్ స్టార్ట్ కావడానికి ముందు మీరు ఏమైనా ఫౌండేషన్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు ఏమైనా స్టూడెంట్స్ ఫౌండేషన్లో ఉన్నా ఫస్ట్ ఫీలింగ్ ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే న్యూటన్స్ లాస్ అనగానే న్యూటన్స్ లాస్ ఆఫ్ మోషన్ కానీ సార్ మాకు తెలుస్తారు అంటే న్యూటన్స్ లాస్ 3 లాస్ మాకు తెలుస్తారు అంటే ఇనర్షియల్ ఫ్రేమ్ నాన్ ఇనర్షియల్ ఫ్రేమ్ నో డౌట్ సార్ మాకు చాలా బాగా తెలుసు అంటారు. ఓకే, మరి ఎందుకు మెకానిక్స్ ఇబ్బంది పడతారు? థింగ్ ఏంటంటే మీ న్యూటన్స్ లాస్ తెలుసు, అండర్స్టాండ్ చేసుకోలేదు, జస్ట్ తెలుసు అంతే. ఒక న్యూస్ పేపర్లో చదివితే ఒక న్యూస్ ఎలా తెలుసు అలా తెలుసు అంతే. న్యూస్లో మ్యాటర్ ఏంది, అసలు ఆ మ్యాటర్ దేనికి సంబంధించింది అది మీకు తెలియదు. సో అలా న్యూటన్స్ లాస్ని చూస్తున్నారు. న్యూటన్స్ లాస్ డైస్ చేసుకుంటేనే అంటే ఎలా అంటే ఇనర్షియల్ ఫ్రేమ్ నాన్ ఇనర్షియల్ ఫ్రేమ్ ఫోర్స్ ఎలా తీసుకోవాలి, కంప్లీట్ అబ్జర్వేషన్ ఏంటి అనే విషయం తెలిస్తేనే మెకానిక్స్ చాలా హ్యాపీగా అనిపిస్తుంది. ఎందుకంటే టోటల్ మెకానిక్స్లో మీరు డీల్ చేసేది ఫండమెంటల్గా ఓన్లీ 3 థింగ్స్ మొత్తం మెకానిక్స్లో. ఒకటి లా ఆఫ్ కన్జర్వేషన్ ఆఫ్ మొమెంటం, వర్క్ ఎనర్జీ థీరం, లా ఆఫ్ కన్జర్వేషన్ ఆఫ్ యాంగులర్ మొమెంటం. Law of conservation of momentum, law of conservation of angular momentum, both are related to forces. If you are perfect with forces, and if you know how to write the torque, how to understand the torque, then these two tasks are very easy. And the last one is work energy theorem. Okay, so conservation of energy or whatever you think. So I'm not talking about conservation of energy separately like that. So broadly I say work energy theorem. So work energy theorem you can understand if you know how to understand force first and how to understand work done by a force. If you are having any gap between force and displacement, the force, how to understand force and how to take the displacement, and how to write the work, and how to write the work energy theorem, how to understand work energy theorem. Okay, so that there itself you are going to face a lot of problems. So it is because of going with only problems without understanding concept is the biggest drawback. Okay, so first of all forces ని అర్థం చేసుకోవడానికి ట్రై చేయండి. What are the number of forces, how we are going to categorize the forces. Okay, so first categorization of forces is going to be happened in Newton's laws of motion. Okay, so first